Good morning, everyone. How are you doing? This is Amanda. I do hope that you're well. Today is the 6th of July, 2023. And sure, I have been spurred to do this video because tomorrow is the 7-7 portal. In fact, we have a 777 energy tomorrow this particular year because we're in a 7 numerological year. So I'm going to take a look at the numerology of 777. Also, what I feel guided to do is I'd like to have a look at the 4 cards from the tarot deck, which are 7. So 7 of Cups, 7 of Pentacles, 7 of Wands, 7 of Swords, as well as the 7th major Arcana card, and pull out some messages maybe over and above standard interpretation of them. Not that there's anything wrong with standard interpretation, but I feel as though there's other messages that want to come through for this 777 portal. So we're going to have a look at that. I've also taken a peek and had a look at what is the 7th card in my 2 decks that I've created, the Christ Consciousness deck and the Archangel Metatron deck. And they are very interesting, and I'm going to talk about them as well. But I think we will start with maybe the significance of 7 and the numerology. Also, this is to say, I suppose what we're really doing here, let me get my bell, is opening on this channel the gateway for Lionsgate. So we are now in the corridor leading up to Lionsgate on the 8th of August. And as the blackbird, or no, I think that's the magpie, makes it sound outside my window. Yeah, I'm not going to say too much about Lionsgate itself this year because things might very well change. But I do feel it's going to be very dualistic, is what I'm hearing. More so than normal. And we're going to have to prepare for it. Maybe this is the video that's going to help us prepare, because it's very interesting that when I look at these 7 cards, the tarot cards, they're all quite challenging. But equally, if we can look at it, I think we can help to clear some energy so we're better prepared by the time we get to the 8th of August. So we'll do that. Let's firstly, though, start with some basic numerology. Okay, so obviously I know lots of you have watched my videos at the start of the year with regards to the fact we're in a 7 year. I've referenced it many times in my video. 7 linking into Neptune, water, the sea, our subconscious, our intuition, all of that. And indeed, the 7th card in the Archangel Metatron deck is the water element with the icosahedron, which is a platonic solid, and linked into our sacral chakra and our creative self. And we also have the energy of the dolphin reminding us to play. I'll come back to that in a moment. Let's just have a look at what 777 is about. So if we add up the digits of 3 7s, we of course get to 21. And then we're going to look at 21, but equally if we then add 2 and 1 together, we get 3. So we know that number 7 on its own stands for us diving into, excuse the pun, our subconscious, our dreams, our intuition, maybe our senses working overtime, upgrading, getting dusted off, etc. Lots of stories, maybe in our own life, where we've been confused, or there have been secrets that have been hidden from us, or we have been hiding an aspect of ourself that we haven't wanted to look at. All of that Neptunian energy starting to swirl, the mist starting to clear, things coming up to be looked at within ourself, within our own stories, within others, certainly within the collective. Can it get any more bonkers? Probably yes. So to hold that steadiness within ourselves is very important. So we know that's what seven's all about, as well as, of course, emotions. So being all at sea, one day feeling good, the next day not feeling so good. This too shall pass is a good mantra for this year, knowing that, like the waves, emotions will come, emotions will go. We just have to keep coming back to that centre point within ourself, our heart, our solar plexus. So that's the 7 energy. But what happens when we get 3 of them in a row? Well, some, if you take the analogy of water, are going to feel very out of their depth. You know, when you're in a swimming pool and maybe you're a little bit of a nervous swimmer, or you've just learnt to swim, or even if you're a relatively good swimmer, there's the safety of being able to touch the bottom of the pool. How ironic that an aeroplane is flying in the sky right above when I'm talking about the depths of a pool. But anyway, the point is that, yeah, we feel secure when we're in a certain depth of water. What happens then when we can't touch the bottom? Okay, we have to learn to swim, don't we? We have to be strong. So some people are going to feel out of their depth, I think, increasingly through this corridor linking into Lionsgate, but opening with the 7-7 portal. But others are really going to find that actually they're not out of their depth at all. And actually they are able to navigate these waters or whatever is arising surprisingly well. With support, of course, but able to do it. So let's go back to that number 21. 21 is the vibration of initiation, successful initiation as well. I always like to think of I don't know whether this still happens, but when I was growing up, when you got to 21 was more celebrated than 18. 21 was really the rite of passage where you felt pretty grown up. And you often got those cards. You remember the birthday cards, and they would come with the gold plastic key stuck onto the card. And the key was very symbolic of being able to put it into a new door, rite of passage, and open yourself to the adult world, your adult self, stepping into more of maturity. Initiation having been completed, having made it from mewling infant to toddler, to child, to being at school, to getting the golden key. And then hopefully the energy of the world is my oyster, wherever you are standing. Obviously it's easier for some on a more glittering pile than others maybe in a slum. But equally the energy of I am now able to step into my birthright. I am grown up, basically. So 21, the 777, is about growing up. It's about maturing. It's about being given a key to unlock a new chamber, maybe within yourself, but certainly entry to a new adventure, something new, something that you haven't done before. And I am definitely feeling in my own life, but I'm also hearing it in other people's lives, lots of synchronicities, which of course have been divinely orchestrated by spirit, many having come in on the back of that timeline jump on the 18th of June, bedded in on the solstice on the 21st, 22nd of June, new opportunities on the horizon, which actually we already have a sense of what they could be. We might have already been offered them, but we maybe are still in that corridor of change. Haven't yet actually opened the door, but we've got the key. So that's the energy of 21, successful initiation, the key, growing up, maturity. And it links into a very beautiful bright yellow colour, the sun. Think about the sun in terms of your own being, your solar plexus, your power. Also, of course, it can be your fear. What are you going to do with that key in your hand? Are you going to put the key in the lock and open it into a new adventure, a new day, a new mindset, a new sense of self, a new beginning? Or are you just going to put the key here in a pocket and sort of forget it's there? Metatron's saying to say at this point that it's important to also realise that sometimes the key and the door that wishes to open isn't one we necessarily would voluntarily have put ourselves in front of. Hopefully for you, it's good stuff that lies behind the door. But we live in a world and we're at a time when the soul wants to have many experiences, and it wants to learn, it wants to grow. It's fertile land right now for the soul to learn and grow. And so sometimes the door that the soul puts you in front of is one of challenge as well. But it's about trying to see the opportunity for soul growth with whatever is presented to you now. And I've got in my mind, in the UK, there's a lady called Fiona Phillips. Those in the UK will know what I'm talking about here. She's been a broadcaster for many years. I don't know what her birth sign is, but she's got this beautiful blonde hair. She's very bubbly. And she's just been diagnosed with Alzheimer's at age 61. So her door in front of her, I'm sure feels extraordinarily daunting, challenging, at human level, frightening, not wanting to go through it at all. But if we can start to understand that we are more than just this human body, that of course doesn't want to necessarily do that, but if we remember that we are a soul that has come into this incarnation to learn what it wants to learn, and absolutely that can sometimes be through illness, disease, challenge, loss, and it's a very bitter pill to swallow that. But I believe it is also the truth. That is, I'm not dreaming that in for any of us that are watching. Hopefully your doors are going to be more fortuitous and happy, but also realise that this key that you've got unlocks something new. And your soul is literally wanting to rip the key from your hand, which is in ego, which is like, I don't know if I really want to turn it and look what's there. And your soul's like, give it to me, come on, let's do this, okay? Seeing yourself from a much more multi-dimensional perspective. Somebody that's come, a soul that's come many times to this earth and had many different experiences, many different opportunities. Sometimes you've taken them, sometimes you haven't. Anyway, 21, it's the key. Make of that what you will. If we add 2 and 1 together, we get to 3. 3 links to the planet Jupiter. Jupiter is big. It's big, it's bold, it's expanded, it's bountiful. There are hidden blessings as well, because Jupiter is about blessings. There are blessings in anything that is in front of you at this moment, even if you're looking at it thinking, I really don't want that. I don't want that in my life. I don't want this to have happened. And from a human level, I completely get that. I completely get why you would feel like that. But from a soul level, there are hidden blessings to anything that is occurring at this time. What's that saying? That sometimes when we feel as though we just can't cope, or we can't do, or we can't navigate what is in front of us, number one, we will be helped and we will be supported, not just by the physical in terms of friends, family, unexpected alliances, acquaintances, people that step out of the woodwork that you didn't even know, but also by God, okay? It's that powerful energy of allowing God, universe, higher power to come in, because they are also the other side of the door. Okay, but whatever this opportunity is, okay, whether it's good, whether it's more challenging, it's big. It's big. So, you know, this is a time for hold on to your hats. It really is. In terms of astrology, just very quickly to frame and reference that as well now, we've obviously just had this full moon in Capricorn. Now, Capricorn is about many beautiful things. It's a beautiful, earthy, grounded sign. But of course, there is also that association with attachment and devil energy. The devil card in the tarot linked into the Capricorn energy. So if we can free ourselves from what we are overly attached to that is stopping us from turning that key in the lock, We are again being helped by the new moon in Cancer on the 17th of July. All along this corridor between 7-7 and 8-8, we've got this beautiful new moon in Cancer, 17th of July. That feels a really nice docking point, is what Metatron is saying, a resting point. So it feels as though between now and the 17th of July, we've effectively got 11 days as I record this, but probably by the time you watch it, it'll be 10 days. Many of you might watch this on 777. So it's a 10-day period of pretty extreme energy that is going to be propelling us, encouraging us to change what needs to be changed and take the opportunities that are there. And that means that we often have to face what we think we can't do. Now, when we look at the 7th card in the Christ Consciousness deck, and I am going to leave you with an unboxing video for the Christ Consciousness deck. Okay, I'll put that out when I'm away. And you'll see all of these cards in their individuality. But I was really struck. I thought, what is the 7th card in the Christ deck? And it's this one, it's Peter. And look at it, it's like Peter, it's like denial. It's like, I don't know if I can do that. Because the thing that Peter didn't realise, of course, was this is a moment in time where he denied he knew Christ. He didn't want to be associated with that because he feared for his life. It was the time of the crucifixion about to happen. So he denied it. But it was so much bigger than that as well, because in that moment he didn't realise it. But what he was denying was not just that moment of knowing Christ and his immediate fear for his safety. It was what he was going to become. Because what he became was the rock, upon which the church was built, the early Christian church, a very dominant, important figure in the early Christian church. But there was this moment like, no, I deny it, I can't do it, I don't want it. I just, if you watch my last video, I just want to be a muggle, I just want that simpler life. We can all be like that at times. But yet what we've got to get in touch with is that sense of excitement and anticipation of what could I learn, what could I become, what can I show and demonstrate. And I do keep being drawn to, I really think there are some very positive opportunities out there, hopefully for many of you. But I'm also being drawn to the more challenging keys in the door at the moment. And this isn't going to apply to all of you. But again, I have said this in a past video. I think it was my video before, 2 videos back. I said that I felt there was going to be a lot of souls passing over in the summer months. And in fact, one of you has just replied to that on a comment on that video. And I will just answer what you've said. Because you've said, are people in the summer passing because of something they've taken or the fact that they're going into 5D? I'm not going to talk about this in this video, but one thing I would like to say is that there is a choice, there is a timeline. As our planet ascends in frequency, some don't want to continue on the journey here. For whatever reason, maybe it wasn't part of their initial soul contract, maybe they find it too hard to get to a higher frequency, because if you're not going to be at a higher frequency going forward, as we ascend and the planet ascends, there's going to be a misalignment. But I just wanted to answer this question because it reminded me of ones that were from 2012, where people felt that somehow people were just going to evaporate or not be here as the planet ascended. And that's not what's going to happen. It's always the soul that decides when it's its time to pass, whatever the eventuality, whatever the cause. That's what I firmly believe. But yeah, this thing about souls passing and soul choice, just needing to acknowledge and recognise that may very well happen. But indeed, I'm taken back to my grandfather when he died many years ago. He was so stoic, he was so brave, he was so normal, for want of a better word. He kept carrying on his life, even though he was dying. And I remember after he died, for me, it was like, my God, thank you, because you have removed the fear of death. It's like, I'm not frightened of it anymore, because he laid down a template within my family line, which was, this is okay. This is just part of life. This is what we all go through. There's nothing to be frightened of. There's nothing to be scared of. So again, going back in terms of, you know, if you put the key in the door and unfortunately that might be the other side, or you know somebody where that's happening, know that you can demonstrate something so damn bloody important that actually it's not, this is just, it's as normal as breathing, living, dying, the cycle of life. But we're living in a society which doesn't want to look at it. You know, we don't want to look at it. We want to deny it. We don't want to hear it. We don't want to see it because we're frightened by it. But what if you or somebody you know was the person who just removed that fear for others? Do you not think that would be a beautiful service? I think it would. Obviously, if it is your time, your natural time to go. Anyway, deviated a little bit there, but I think you can just, what I'm trying to demonstrate is the power of these 3 sevens. So let's now take a look at these cards from the tarot. Because something, well, I say something, I know what the something was. It was this guy, it was Metatron. Metatron was like, take a look at the sevens in the tarot. And I was like, really? Why do I want to do that? And then I pulled them out and I was like, oh, well, that's quite a challenging card. And then it was like, oh, that one's quite challenging as well. They're all challenging, but there is good news on the horizon, because I'm going to talk about the 7 of Swords, the 7 of Wands, the 7 of Cups, the 7 of Pentacles. And of course, there is opportunity and blessings in these as well. But remember, there is a counter energy here to all of this. There is a help, which is the 7th card in the major arcana is the Chariot. The Chariot, forward movement, no matter what is what I'm hearing. Can you hear the children, by the way? I don't know if you can hear, but there's a sports day here and I can hear they're racing basically, and I can hear like the starter guns and safe starter guns, of course. There's just a very joyful atmosphere over there in terms of the school sports day, and it just feels so symbolic in terms of this Chariot card. You know, it's like ready, steady, go. Are you ready to look at this stuff? So let's go. Let's start with maybe one of the most challenging ones. I think that's just music now as well. We'll go with it. 7 of Swords. So this is the depiction of the 7 of Swords. This is the After Tarot deck, one of my favourite decks. And usually people talk about this card highlighting lies, betrayal, manipulation, where we are going to trip ourselves up, because it feels as though we're being asked to look at, again, it's so easy to look at them over there that are doing it. You know, that's the person that lies, that's the person that manipulates, that's the person that's betrayed us. I'd like us to take it back into ourselves and just quietly, without drama, journal, reflect, sit by water, sit on a hill, sit in your front room, hold a crystal, use a spray, whatever you want to do. Reflect on, where have we lied and betrayed ourselves? Now, of course, the biggest betrayal, and this is this. It's like, no, I can't do it. When we self-sabotage ourselves, when something good does come knocking and we don't want to answer the door, because we think we can't do it. You know, we're not good enough. Can I say that everybody alive on this planet probably has that archetypal template within them that I can't do it, okay, that I'm going to be found out, that actually, you know, whether you're a surgeon, well, maybe not whether you're a surgeon, hopefully not if you're a surgeon, but the imposter syndrome is what I'm talking about. Lots of people suffer from imposter syndrome, and often the people that suffer the most are the people that are actually the greatest. That's what I've observed. I always remember, I think it was John Gielgud, brilliant actor, one of the best Shakespearean actors. out there, as well as other things. And I think it was John Gielgud. I might have got that wrong, but let's use him as an example. A master of his craft in acting. And he said every time he goes on stage, he just throws up. You know, obviously not on the stage, but before he goes on. And I've heard this said with many, many great artists, you know, many great speakers. Just that sense of like, oh my God, I can't do it. Nothing's going to come out. I'm not going to know what to say. I'm not going to be able to remember my lines. They're not going to like me. All of that, you know. Or you're a painter and you've painted something and it's like, I don't know whether this is going to sell. I don't think they're going to like that. I'm not sure I got that shade of blue right. Oh God, I'm crap. I better go and just jack it all in and not be an artist and go and do something else with my life. You know, that's where self-sabotage eventually takes you. No. No. That's this energy where we're going to trip ourselves up. So we're in a period of transformation, because the other thing about 7 is, of course, it's 7 days of creation. We can create something or we can destroy something in 7 days. How about trying to create a new positive mindset, a new strategy, a new structure that is going to aid you so that you don't fall back into the old patterns? Now, I'm giving you 7 days, but of course, you can have more than that if you want. I do genuinely feel as though this period we're in, between now and Lionsgate, remember Lionsgate goes on for a few more days after 8/8, this beautiful portal corridor we're in, is an opportunity for us to re-blueprint our template within ourselves, which means, to a degree, shedding the skin of the old us, the person that maybe has been looking in the mirror thinking they can't do it, they, you know, etc. And that might be based on old wounding. It might be based on real things that have happened. Maybe you weren't able to do it then, but maybe you can now. Okay, so it's this thing about letting that go. Now, anything else to say about the number 7? Can you hear the music? Girls just want to have fun. Cyndi Lauper's just coming through the window. In the morning light. Girls just want to have fun. You see, this is the thing, you know, life is not meant to be tortuous. It's meant to be the experience that we do enjoy. So this is also the energy of just raising the vibration, because it's pretty miserable when you self-sabotage and you trip yourself up and you deny who you really are, which is your greatness, your light, your potential. Okay. Actually, there is another song, not the one that's coming through the window, but I was hearing the lyrics to Lose Yourself by Eminem. I always say his name wrong. My girls think it's hilarious. But there's one particular part of that song. Yeah. You better lose yourself in the music the moment you own it. You better never let it go. You only get one shot. Do not miss your chance to blow. This opportunity comes once in a lifetime. So yeah, it's the whole thing about the key that I've said. Right. Now let's get to the next 7, and we're going to go to the 7 of Wands. I'm just a little bit concerned that if you can hear Cyndi Lauper like I can, I might get a copyright strike, so I'm unfortunately going to have to close my window. Hold on a minute. I can still hear it, but I don't think it will pick up on camera now. You probably couldn't hear it anyway, but it was energetically coming through to you. Let's all have a bit of fun. Right, let's go to the next card, the 7 of Wands. So this is the depiction of the 7 of Wands. How do you interpret that particular card? This is one which I'm going to reference a book, and I will just give a shout out to this book. I mean, there's lots of tarot books out there. This one's called Tarot Made Easy, and it's by Kim Arnold. And I'm just going to look at what she said about the 7 of Wands. So she says, a man stands on top of a hill, precariously near the cliff edge. Oh yes, I had never noticed that. He is defending his territory with determination. He's wearing different coloured shoes on each foot. Is he? Oh yeah. Is he? I'm not sure whether he is in this deck, but anyway. Implying imbalance, so he's slightly imbalanced. You may feel raring to go with a new project or venture, but are apprehensive about the extent of the commitment involved in getting things started. However, if you don't try, you will never know. There is a sense of wanting to throw caution to the wind, and this is fine as long as you plan your strategy carefully. If you're struggling to stay on top of things, this is a good time to rethink your situation and how you will find the strength to continue. Right, I mean, obviously there's a bit of a battle going on with this card as well. Slightly different interpretation, actually. Maybe she's looking at a different tarot deck, but let's go with this one. What do I want to say about this? Yeah, he is beside a cliff. He's obviously fighting. He's defending himself. But he's above the others. So to me, this is highlighting for us to remember that you don't have to join the fray. You don't have to lower yourself to behaviour and tactics that are beneath you. His wand that he's holding isn't actually touching anybody else's. The others are absolutely wanting to hit him, strike him, bring him down. But he is there with the wand in his hand, but he's not actually striking anybody. It feels as though it's symbolic of taking the higher ground in any situation, knowing that you have the strength, but you don't have to use the sword. Okay, I know it's not a sword, but not having to use the sword because you're at a higher vibrational frequency than these others that are around you. So it's asking you to think about your life and people that might be in it, either online or in person, that are trying to bring you down to their level. But equally, it's just also because they just can't see things in the way that you do. And we're going to get this more and more as the dimensional shifts change and increase and the gap widens. People down here operating in a more 3D way with a 3D outlook, they can't see what this person sees up there because they're not at that frequency. They're behaving, they're operating, they've got a different operating system is what Metatron is saying. This person is just defending themselves, but they're defending themselves with frequency. Let me pull one more card to go with that one. I've always found the Seven of Wands a little bit challenging to read, and I don't really know why I do find it challenging, but the King of Cups. So there's a lot of emotion with it. There's a lot of emotion. Others wanting to pull you into their emotion, whether that be rage, sorrow, victimhood, anger. Sort of reminds me what I've been saying about, like the rioting and all of this and just being the peaceful eye in the storm. This guy feels a bit like the peaceful eye in the storm. Okay, he's got a blinking wand in his hand. I realise that. There's an aspect of self-defence there, but he's not going to use it because he knows he's not going to have to use it. That makes sense. So we've got that. The next seven we've got in the tarot is the Seven of Cups. So here we've got illusion, confusion, not knowing which cup is real, not knowing which avenue to take, which path to take, which cup to choose. It's reminiscent of the 7 deadly sins. Reminds me of that. Being careful, being wise in terms of what you are aligning to. The person down here in the corner is aligning to overt overconsumption, materialism. He's got his jewels, he's clutching his jewels to his heart. This is all that matters to me. But there's a snake that's round his waist. You know, the snake is trapping him. The snake could easily work its way up and take his life. But he doesn't even really notice it because he's so consumed by his greed. You know, it's like, my beauties. It's that Gollum type energy. Let's have a look at what it says about this card, actually. Seven of Cups. Seven of Cups. So the Seven Cups appear to be floating in a cloud. Oh yeah, so they are. So they are. Six are filled with both positive and negative items. A cloth covers the seventh. So this is a card of temptation, which is likely to lead to regret if you allow fantasy to overtake reality. It's also the card of the dreamer and the saying that if it looks too good to be true, it probably is. Conflicts between your dreams and your fears are at the forefront of your mind. Do not rush decisions. Yeah, you see, because I feel as though there are some big decisions that we're having to make right now, linking into the new timelines that we're in. And it's not, well, I was going to say it's not going to be easy to make the decision, but equally, it doesn't have to be as hard as we're making it if we're tapped into our higher self. Let me just put the book down. What am I wanting to say about this? So decisions, difficult to make. So the bigger the prize, the bigger the test sometimes. Be aware that if you're faced with a positive opportunity in front of you right now, because we live in a dualistic universe, you may very well get someone or something coming to challenge you on it, in line of, are you sure that's the right thing to do? And sometimes it will be based on past experience, that you don't want to turn that key because I've done that before and that didn't really work, that didn't work well. It will be easy for your shadow self and sabotage archetype within yourself to say, oh, well, I'm not going to turn the key then. You know, look at the experience that person had. It might very well be totally valid what that person said, and it might well have been their experience, but it doesn't have to be your experience. So you've, again, discernment coming through big time. Needing to discern, is this right? Is this wrong? I know some of you that are moving house at the moment, it's that type of thing. You I don't know, you're warned off, you know, you sure you want to move to that area? But yet, you know yourself. This is a test of knowing yourself. It's also a test of knowing, ultimately, the path that you want to be on. You're going to be tested. With the big opportunities come the tests. You've still got to turn the lock. Obviously, you don't ignore huge red flags, but there are tests that come with the big opportunities. I also feel as though if money is the driver and you're just doing it for money, material, wealth, for reasons that are ego-led, that's not necessarily going to end very well. Doesn't mean there's anything wrong with making money, for example, of course, that's not what I'm saying. I just mean you've really got to check why you're saying yes to things. Are you saying yes to things for the right reasons? Great if there's a bit of money involved as well, lovely, but that should definitely not be the only motivation. So is it, for example, serving your soul development? Is it helping to help other people? That type of thing. Is the example of a house, is it going to be, it needs to be that house because it's got a great garden and the dog would love it and the kids will love it, and even if it's blah, 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 that type of thing. Seven of Cups. I don't know whether that's meant to be a Greek god there, but I'm just being drawn to the Greek gods. Although it could be any god. It's like which god are you serving? maybe also the energy of false gods as well. No offence to the Greek gods, just false gods. Being very aware and needing to be very aware of what's real, what's fantasy. And I suppose what this card brings in as a suggestion is you've got to keep your feet on the ground. You've got to keep grounded. I did a short little video today on Instagram and Facebook just with regards to, you know, I said the devil makes work for idle hands. If we spend too much time navel gazing and too much time just thinking and dreaming and like, oh, it's like, no, you've got to sometimes just get on with it and do it. Keep yourself busy, keep yourself occupied. Structure in life is very important. Otherwise it can lead to all this stuff that's a little bit loose and a bit floaty and sometimes not at all helpful. Final card from the sevens is the Seven of Pentacles. And here we've got somebody who's completed a job well done, looks pleased with himself. He's taking away his part of the earnings. I like the fact he's leaving the rest. He's taking his share and no more. That feels the most positive card of all of the sevens in this deck. And it's to do with the material world. But it's to do with what do we do with our money? Are we doing good with our money? Are we creating something beneficial within the material world? Are we planting our seeds well? Are we watering them? That type of thing. What else do I want to say about the Seven of Pentacles? Anything else to say? That card just feels the best of the sevens. I'm going to pull one more to go with that. Not getting a great deal on that. Might just be because there's less to say on it. I don't know, but let's just have a look. It's interesting, of course, we've got 777. So it's 3 sevens. This fourth seven, I'm not feeling so much. I feel as though we're being asked to focus on these. Where are we sabotaging ourselves or lying to ourselves? Are we able to take a higher ground, you know, not go into the fray? Self-defense and protection, yes, which also is about boundaries and about armor of God and, you know, making sure we're protected. But equally, we're never going to wield the weapon or whatever it is because we're at a higher frequency. It's also about people trying to knock you off your perch. Jealousy, basically. You're doing really well, so I'm going to try and knock you down. Let it go. Let them do it. They can't do anything. That's where they're at. It's not where you're at. Okay? And this one, Seven of Cups, what's illusion, what's fantasy, what's real? Be very careful. Be very careful also with hallucinogenic stuff if you're doing that type of thing. Anything that's mind-altering, and by that I'd also include alcohol. And I like a good glass of wine like everybody, but it can turn around and bite you a bit in this portal corridor. You've got to be careful. It also can create holes, you know, within the aura, so we don't want that either. So balance and moderation in all things. I am just going to pull one though for this fourth seven, because it feels as though it's standing there a bit on its own. 777 definitely feels as though it's more about the Seven of Cups, the Seven of Wands and the Seven of Swords. But let's just see. Anything else to say, Metatron, on this Seven of Pentacles? We've got the Empress. This is the opposite of what I was just saying about the devil makes work for idle hands. What the Empress is saying, and of course the Empress is about fertility, bounty, harvest, new beginnings, is put hard positive work into what you wish to see come into your life. If it's a job, put your heart and soul into it. Do your best. If it is to do with your family, just again try your best. If it's to do with anything. It's just about working hard, whatever that means to you. It doesn't have to be about a job. It can be. It can also just be about working hard with regards to, I don't know, home improvements or self-improvement, you know. But the Empress is shining her light on that. She's encouraging work. Definitely. It so ties into the video I put out this morning on Instagram, which is to do with, you know, too much navel gazing, too much just, you know, self-absorption is is so dangerous right now. I'm not saying don't reflect on how you feel and meditate or any of that, but balance, because it can become about just me, myself and I. Well, we're entering into us and we as an energy. That's what unity's about. It's about, is my neighbour okay? I haven't seen them out in the street for ages. Are they okay? Am I going to knock on their door? Are my children okay? Is my mother okay? Is this person okay? As well as me, balancing it all out. But if we're just into me, how am I feeling the whole time? And too much navel gazing, we're not getting on with it. The Empress is saying, come on, get on with it. I love that. Okay, right. Last card to go back to is the Chariot. Okay, so we're in the 7th month and we have the Chariot just encouraging us onward. And then we will get into the 8th month and the Lion's Gate, and we will have the Strength card, which is brilliant. I will come back, definitely, and I will be looking at Lion's Gate. I'm quite tempted this year to maybe try and do something linked into Sirius, because the Lion's Gate portal, just to refresh our memories, is when the fixed star Sirius, the Earth and Orion are all aligned in the sky, lines up around the 8th of August, obviously in the sign of Leo. So I think it might be quite interesting to explore that. The Sirius star might do that, but we'll see how we go. Okay, let's pull one final card and then I'm going to close out this video. Well, in fact, no, I'm not going to pull a card. I'm going to use a spray. I'm going to use the 7th chakra spray. Why not? So the 7th chakra in our body, well, the 7th traditional chakra, because of course within the Metatron system, we also include, for example, the higher heart, we include the altar major, so that changes it somewhat, and also the earth star beneath our feet. I work with a 12 chakra system. I know other people work with more or less, doesn't matter, that's just I'm saying what I do, that's what I've been guided to do with Metatron. But the 7th traditional chakra was always the crown, so I'm going to go with that. And it's a perfect colour to maybe end with and work with through this corridor, because silver is linked into seeing our reflection. Think about silver linked into the moonlight. Think about silver linked into a mirror. It's like a mirror that shows us who we are. Do we like what we see in the mirror? If not, how can we change it? Don't do this. Don't just not look there. Let's look at it. Also, the other thing with the silver crown chakra spray is that it acts like a filter. So if you think about the crown chakra, I'll spray it in a moment and we'll just do a quick little finish off session, as it were, with visualization. But if you think of the crown chakra, this is where so much energy comes into our body. It's one of the places, as well as others, of course, but comes in through the crown. And if you just allow yourself to be open to everything, which is a bit like this 7 of Cups, like anything can come in, here I am, I'm open, Really? You want everything coming in? No, I don't think so, thank you very much. So the silver acts as a filter. It filters out anything that is detrimental, that you don't want accessing your energy field or your chakra system. And it brings in only which is of true light and love. Okay, so let's just use the silver and tuning into this spot above your head, the crown chakra. I'm just going to put lots of silver light there. And I've never seen this before, but I'm actually now being shown a silver cocoon. Oh, beautiful. Often work with gold cocoons, but this is a silver cocoon. It's a silver cocoon around the whole body, forming very quickly from the crown chakra. It feels very strong. It feels very secure. You can sort of put your arm out like that and extend the aura, and you can actually feel the strength of that auric lining is what I'm feeling. It's not wibbly wobbly. It's not all over the place. It's not like, it's leak proof is what Metatron is saying. It's leak proof. It's it's like a ring of steel. It's a ring of steel, wow, that we are putting around ourselves. Now that's interesting because, of course, rings of steel are placed around buildings, events, people, when there is like heightened risk. And I feel as though, you know, unfortunately, the way the world is at the moment, there are all sorts of heightened risks and stuff. So I do think actually putting yourself into a silver cocoon is how I'm feeling it. But also then just put your arms out like that and just feel the strength. And then you can just check the aura, all parts of the aura, just put silver all the way down. So above the crown, all the way down. If I was standing up now, I'd be taking it all the way down to my feet. I'll do that off camera, okay? And also underneath your feet. So feeling this silver cocoon underneath you, above you, behind you, in front of you, to your right, to your left. I'm also hearing it shatterproof. So this is just needed, Metatron is saying. Now, hopefully it's just linked into the fact that with portals and increasingly important portals, there's a lot of, want of a better word, crap that's flying all over the place. Think of it this way, you're letting go of all your stuff, okay? So is that person next to you. If you're not careful, you're just walking in an energetic suit, picking up the flying debris. You know, you don't want that. You want to be clearing it. So the silver is a filter, remember. So what you're letting go of, it's filtering away from you and then it's being transmuted. So you can also just imagine violet light just lifting it up and away, transmuting it from your space, from your neighbour's space, from your family's space, from your work space, just transmuted to love. But you have to do that. Otherwise, it's just like we're all just flinging off our stuff here, there and everywhere. And you're going to be getting rid of your stuff. And then you pick up the person next to you's stuff. So this silver cocoon, it's shatterproof, it's leak-proof, it's a filter that lets you release, so it's porous in that way, but it doesn't let anything detrimental in the other way. Does that make sense? Okay, so also Metatron saying wearing silver at this time is very helpful. Probably also things like colloidal silver, although check whether you can take that if you're on different medication, etc. You don't have to take colloidal silver, it's just something you could do. But wearing silver. Let's finish with a silver charm. Okay, I've got some more charms. Let's see what we get for 777. Oh, I'm always picking this one. I sound disappointed. I shouldn't be because it's just take the wheel. Take the wheel. Take the wheel of your own life, okay? Take the wheel of your own life. Okay, I'm going to leave it there for now. As I say, I'll try and get a few videos up for when I'm away. I'm properly back at my desk on, well, not the 23rd of July, because that's my birthday. I get back on the 22nd, but I'll be back a few days after the 23rd. My daughter can't wait for me to vacate the house because she's moving a boyfriend in, so they're going to have a great time here, and we are going to France and going to be in a camper van camping, going to the Loire region, drinking a bit of French wine, sitting by the river, hopefully having a nice time. And I'm very much looking forward to being in France. I've really missed it. I haven't been since before the pandemic, so I'll see how I find the energy. I'll try and maybe take some film as well of a couple of the chateaus that we're going to be visiting. So all good. Take great care, lots of love, look after each other and look after yourself. Bye-bye for now. Bye.